fully aware there's a Vikings game starting at 7:15 tonight. We're going to move along here. I have a few announcements I'd like to make. One is I'd like to congratulate our city on the fact that we were given a bronze award from the League of American Bicyclists for declaring us a bike-friendly community. Very good news. And I'd also like to mention that this Saturday, the Winona Police Department is holding Cops and Kids Day. That'll be at the East End Rec Center from 9 a.m. till noon. It's geared towards children from ages 5 to 11. And they're invited to join the Winona Police Department as they host a whole morning of fun for kids. The police department will have several stations set up around the East End Rec to give your children an opportunity to not only meet police officers, but train like a police officer, collect evidence like a police officer, go inside a police squad car, and much more. So plan on that this Saturday. Should be a great event. I've got a couple proclamations. The first one is for Accessibility Awareness Week. Whereas snow that is not promptly cleared can create hazards in navigating sidewalks for Winona citizens who are dependent on wheelchairs, scooters, and walkers to get around in the city. And whereas some residents of Winona may not be aware of the city ordinance requiring that sidewalks be cleared within a certain amount of time after a snowfall. And whereas students from Winona State University Counselor Education Department are working in conjunction with clients from the Winona ORC Industries, distributing information about the importance of keeping our sidewalks clear, as well as information about programs at the ORC. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Mark Peterson, do hereby declare November 10th to the 16th, 2013 as Accessibility Awareness Week. Another proclamation here is for Minnesota Manufacturers Week. Whereas the manufacturing industry is a dynamic part of Minnesota's economy, and promotion of this sector's strength, success, and high quality of life is an integral part of Minnesota's economic development strategy. And whereas manufacturing provides high skill, high wage jobs, which significantly contribute to Minnesota's high standard of living and economic vitality. And whereas each manufacturing job supports another 1.9 jobs elsewhere in the economy through supplier purchases and employee spending. In all, manufacturing accounts for nearly 850,000 jobs, or 33% of all jobs in Minnesota. And whereas manufacturing has the largest total payroll of any business sector in Minnesota, providing $16.4 billion in 2010 wages, and whereas manufacturing produces $37 billion for the state economy and is the largest share, 15% of our state gross product, and whereas manufactured exports brought over $18.4 billion into the Minnesota economy in 2011. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Mark Peterson, do hereby proclaim that the week of October 22nd to the 26th, 2013, shall be observed as Minnesota Manufacturers Week. We also have somebody, I believe Sean Burke, who's here, who would like to step up for a quick moment and address the council and talk about the Live at the Levee event. Thank you, Sean.
Yes. On behalf of the Live at the Levee group, I'd like to thank the City Council and City staff for their support. The Live at the Levee that we held on October 5th, we had 700 to 800 people approximately come through there. It was a great event. We've had some really positive feedback on it. And the Live at the Levee group looks forward to partnering again with the city and city staff in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all your work and the work of the committee volunteers that stepped up and put on that event. Also like to mention as a follow-up to that, that on Thursday this week, on the 24th, starting at 4:30, there will be a meeting, open house forum at the Winona County History Center, dealing with the levee and inviting people from the community to come and provide some input into the planning that's going on by the Center for Changing Landscape. Also, I'd like to congratulate Winona State on their homecoming victory and a weekend of good time and a great parade. It was a lot of fun to be a part of that. And finally, I have a A very important announcement that we've been looking forward to making here for some time. And I'm going to read my comments, and then I'm going to ask that Mike Chickanowski, the president of our Port Authority, step up and make a few follow-up comments. Over the past several months, our port and city staff, representatives from the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development and Minnesota State Southeast Tech have been working with SciTech Engineered Materials on a possible expansion in Winona. As you might know, SciTech is a global manufacturer of advanced materials for the aerospace industry with facilities around the globe. Needless to say, we should be very excited to bring these world-class manufacturing jobs to Winona. At our November 4th meeting, the City Council will be asked to hold a public hearing to consider a Department of Employment and Economic Development Minnesota Investment Fund application designed to facilitate SciTech's expansion. Details on the project will be provided for the next council meeting. If you should have any questions about the project, please contact Lucy or Myron in the Community Development Office. This certainly dovetails well with Minnesota Manufacturing Week. And I'd like to ask Port President Mike Chickanowski to step up and add to that.
With a history of entrepreneurship, a strong educated workforce, and a widely recognized composite program at Winona State, Winona has earned its reputation as a stronghold for the composite industry in the Midwest. SciTech could have chosen to expand near any of their facilities in the world. They chose Winona. That speaks volumes for our community and what it has to offer. Given favorable consideration by the City Council on November 4th, this expansion will bring an investment by SciTech of close to $12 million. We can also expect around 60 full-time manufacturing jobs, aerospace, composite industry jobs, offering competitive wages and benefit packages. The Port Authority of Winona is grateful for our strong partnership with State Department of Employment, Economic Development, and particularly the staff at Southeast Tech. They have responded quickly and helped our staff provide information that helped convince SciTech that Winona was the choice for their expansion. You know, this is a multi-billion-dollar New York listed company, and they could have went any place in the world. They have many, many options. This is a big deal for Winona, so it's great. We'll see what happens November 4th.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Should be easy.
Very good news. Roll call? Or Judy, I'm sorry.
No comments.
Okay. Moving along too fast here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Iden. Here. Borzakowski.
Here.
Double. Under the required public hearings, item 2.1 is the 2012 Core Neighborhood Rehab Program Phase 2.
I'll declare the public hearing open, and is Natasha or Lucy, who's going to speak?
Oops, I better get this down. Well, 2012 Core Neighborhood Rehab Phase 2 is actually a continuation from 2010 Core Neighborhood Rehab, which we did really great. We did over 40 homes over a period of 2 years. So now we're in Phase 2, and as of September 30th, we completed 7 homes. And as of today, we completed 3 more, so it's a total of 10 homes. Currently, we have 3 projects out, and they're work in progress, and we have 4 more projects that are we are being processed. So our goal is to get at least between 25 to 26 homes completed by October next year.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
Just a question about, is this something that every city in the state has a program like this, or is Winona kind of special because we've had this ongoing for so many years?
We have to apply for it every year, so we have to be very competitive. Okay. And in fact, we are going to apply for 2014, and we are in the process of having surveys done so we can apply for a preliminary proposal. Mm-hmm. So it all depends on how competitive we are.
Thank you.
Is there any geographic limitations as to where people could apply within the city?
In 2010, we did a core neighborhood, the whole area. And this year, it's a little bit more restrictive. They want targeted areas. DEED wants us to address targeted areas. And that's why we send surveys out, and we broke the city into 6 different portions. So we sent surveys out. Each area, we sent about 80 random letters out. So it's based on what the surveys come in. So which is the area that is the most need, and we'll go from there.
George?
Do we know, are the contractors primarily from Winona, or do those jobs go out on a bid, and there's, other contractors? And are supplies bought here to Winona for this program?
It goes out on bids. With small cities and federal funds, we have to get contractors who are lead licensed, who have lead firm, and there are a lot of contractors out in Rochester that are doing it actually. We have one in Lewiston, a couple in Winona, but it goes out in bids.
Thank you.
Other questions? I should ask if there are any questions. Anybody from the audience that'd like to speak? Anybody from the audience want to speak? Last time, anybody wish to speak? Okay, I'll declare the public hearing closed and turn it over to the council.
Yes,
No
no action
action.
is required.
Oh, okay.
On to the next item, under petitions, requests, and communications. Item 3.1 is an appointment to the Human Rights Commission of Elizabeth Hubline. This would be the first of 2 representatives from Greater Winona County.
I move to approve that.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Jerry. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.2, reappointment to the Planning Commission of Craig Porter.
Move to approve that appointment.
Second.
Motion by Jerry, seconded by Al. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3 is an appointment to the Merit Board of Brad Peterson.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.4, caroling by candlelight request for Friday, December 6th at Wyndham Park.
Move to approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.5 is the Winona Art Walk sign request at Wyndham Park for November 11th through the 23rd.
Move to approve that request.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.6 is a request for Lake Street to be signed as a through highway.
Move to introduce the attached ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Jerry, seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Yeah.
A question on the signs that have been proposed. Would it not make sense as well, according to our diagram here, to include, or maybe the ordinance itself does, and it wasn't in the diagram, stop signs on Dakota, south of Dakota and Sioux Streets? Or is that part of the,
Yeah, good idea.
part of
Say that
the,
again.
You mean all the way over by that U-turn thing?
no, this is where,
Aren't they?
the,
On the 2 parks.
yeah, by the
Oh,
two
where
parks.
you come out of the
So
park.
when you
and
come out of the
stop.
park heading north,
That's a good point.
you'd have to stop.
With the designation, it'll include that.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
Yeah.
but I just had to
Doesn't show
clarify
it.
that on.
They may be there already, I'm just not certain, but they certainly can be by this ordinance.
Yeah, okay.
Other comments?
Yes, I want to thank staff for looking into this. This has been discussed for a very, very long time, but recently neighbors in that area brought it up again, and it just seems to be the right time. There was also talk about limiting speed limits, et cetera, et cetera. That's not probably going to work. Let's start with this, start with patrolling, and then take it from there. So thanks to staff for bringing this back.
I think at some point I'd like to have a larger discussion about some of our unregulated intersections and some of the complaints I hear about that, so.
Can always get, council, if we can, Mr. Brazen might wanna head up a subcommittee.
All right, we'll deal with this one tonight.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.7 is a request for a three-way stop at Valley Oaks Drive in Forest Oaks Court.
Yeah, I would introduce the attached ordinance.
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Michelle. I'd like to ask, where did this come from? Did this come from a neighborhood complaints or?
This was brought up recently by a resident in the area, but this has been on our radar for a long time. Having the way it was laid out before really made no sense. You had one way going through, one way stopping. It was an accident waiting to happen. I really support doing this one.
I've always wondered why,
Yep.
why that was only one direction.
I hear the history was to slow down vehicles leaving the neighborhood, but this helps.
Any further discussion, George?
And this, like I say, this will clear all the confusion up at that particular corner, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.8 is a request for a four-way stop sign ordinance at Fifth and Junction.
I would move to introduce the attached ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Discussion?
Yeah, another
Yeah.
question. For this project, again, our illustration shows a stop sign for westbound traffic on Fifth going from the golf course area up on Fifth. The ordinance talks about a yield sign still being in place. So is the ordinance requesting a stop sign according to the diagram or a yield sign according to the actual ordinance?
In this case, the sign, the map is correct. There are 4 stop signs and there still is 1 yield sign. If you're heading west on Fifth and you want to turn into Orange Street, that's a yield sign.
No, that's a stop sign.
That's a stop.
If you're heading west on Fifth, before you get past the Quick Trip, that Fifth Orin and Junction intersection, it's a stop sign there. This is a yield sign right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm just clarifying again the diagram, so the diagram matches the ordinance, which is, I'm fine with, but I want to make sure things match here.
We'll clear that up. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.9 is the New Life Christian Center request for handicap stall on Sanborn Street.
I would move to introduce the attached ordinance.
Second. Motion by Pam, seconded by George. Discussion. Michelle?
George, can I ask you a question? Were you the one that brought up that we should look at how many handicap I'm okay with this, but wasn't there at one point you asked them to staff to look at how many handicap stalls we put on residential streets?
No, it wasn't I.
Well, can we look at that as more and more requests come in? Is there, I don't know, is it already in our ordinance that says how many per street there can be or city block?
I don't know any restrictions, but I sure can give you the list.
Okay, thanks.
Do we ever look at them? I mean, sometimes people request these and then they're no longer needed. Do we ever follow up that way? Okay.
On a regular basis, they come and go away as well. Typically, if they're not, if the resident doesn't have a sticker, they don't want it in front of their house anymore.
That's fine.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under unfinished business, item 4.1 is the General Obligation Airport Bonds, Series 2013A.
I would move to approve the attached consent resolution.
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Al. Very good rate. Can't complain about that.
I think everybody on the port at that meeting breathed a big sigh of relief, because it was during the government shutdown, and who knew what was going to happen if that continued. So, yes.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 4.2 is the approval of the revised agreement for the airport construction administration.
I'd move to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, I think I heard Paul second it. Discussion?
I do have a question of our Public Works Director. Keith, there, in your article or your item here for the council agenda, you said that there's a permit from the Army Corps of Engineers that's pending. How does that affect this particular project?
The contractor who's been anxious to start would have liked to start by now. It just means that they won't be able to do much, if anything, this fall.
This year? Okay.
They'll get on in the spring. What we were hoping to do was do some dredging off the end of the runway, the northwest end, but that may not happen.
Another question too, we are approving the task order to Mead and Hunt, our consultant on this project. How does the city go about monitoring the consultant and making sure things are as they should be?
That's a two-pronged thing. One, being it's a federal project is very difficult because there are so many regulations, so many forms. It's just something that when you have federal grants, you almost have to have a consultant. Having said that, because that it's the FAA is very much involved, MnDOT Aeronautics is very much involved, documenting all the hours, the expenses. Then we get audited at the end as well. This size of project, we will get audited. So there, and then staff. I mean, this comes through my office. I get all the paperwork comes from our office, and we watch it as well.
You review that paperwork, and do you inspect the project as it's being?
I'm not out there doing the soils test and such, but yes, I'll be out there a lot.
Okay.
But we hire Mead and Hunt to do
Right.
the real hands-on.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried.
Under new business, item 5.1 is to award the contract for the 9th Street Sanitary Sewer CIPP improvements. The low bidder is Visu Sewer with a bid of $73,285. The engineer's estimate was $93,700.
I'd move to adopt the attached resolution awarding the contract with Viz Sewer, whatever they are.
Second?
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Jerry. Discussion? George?
Where is this project going to be done at?
Is 9th Street sanitary sewer between two streets? I'm not sure which two streets it is. It's over on the east end someplace.
Well, that's okay, then you don't have to check nothing else.
I might slip that through there. But this is an area that has been a problem in the past with the sewer line leaking, collapsing, failing on us. And this is a great way to do it instead of tearing up the street.
Al?
So this is where they put a material in the sewer and then it hardens and acts as a sewer once it's cured and all set to go. But it makes the sewer a little smaller, but as you said, doesn't require tearing a street up.
Yeah, but the CIPP is cured in place pipe.
Okay. And Visu Sewer, Inc., has the city done any work, or have they done any work in the city before? Because I've noticed that, the engineer's estimate and the other bids were much higher than this. I'm glad to see that. And I noticed in the bid breakdown that some of the costs, the unit costs, didn't compare according to the engineer estimate or other bids. Why is that, do you think?
It's a great question. We have not done this sort of project in my tenure here. We may have done one in the past. I'm not sure who the company was, but Vigisewer is almost the company that created this business. They've been around a long time. They've been long as I've been in engineering. They've been around. The other two, it's our impression it's more of a secondary business to them. They're both good companies. They've been great to have done it, but it's not their primary business. Whereas with Vigisewer, it is.
So they have a little more efficiency in their process, probably.
Apparently.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thanks, Steve.
George?
And if you could just let us know where this particular spot's going to be, so thank you.
Other questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.2 is the agreement between Borkowski Towing and the City of Winona.
I would move to approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.3 is the license agreement with the Winona Boathouse Association.
Move to approve the new contract.
Second. Motion by Jerry, seconded by Paul. Discussion? Al?
That agreement then includes the contract with the first year payment at 10,000 and the subsequent payments at 11. That's
As it's
my
stated here,
understanding.
yes.
Okay. I'm just out of curiosity, does the city have a list, or do we know the number of boathouses that are attached to the city property? And does the city have a list of the owners of that property?
Council member, I believe that in the Community Development Office, the Inspections Division, that they do have a list of all the
Okay.
boathouses
All right.
and owners. Because I think we're informed when ownership changes.
I mean, looking at the map, there's a lot of,
Yes.
surprisingly, a lot of folks that are, using that
And
area.
there are some, the vast number of them are part of the Boathouse Association. There are some that are not,
Okay,
that we regulate separately.
okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Do they pay a different fee? Or the ones that aren't?
You know, I don't remember that.
Other discussion? George?
And this extension is just for 5 years, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.4 is the approval of the fountain design concept.
Keith?
Mayor and council, I think this is the most fun item on the agenda tonight. But the council has approved a contract for the design of a water fountain similar to the other one by the band shell, the otter fountains. And we wanted to come in and bring it to council to get your approval on the basic design and not leave that up to a non-artistic person like myself. So we brought in Lynette Powers, who's going to talk a little bit about what we're proposing and show you where she's at with the model.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for another opportunity to create yet another public sculpture for Winona. It's very exciting. And I also want to thank the people of Winona for their incredibly enthusiastic response to the first otter sculpture. It just seems like it's a very loved sculpture, and it's proven by all the bare spots on the bronze. And there's a number of, I'll tell you about that later. There's one feature that is especially endearing to me. The head on the bottom otter has been completely worn off because the kids like to step up on that otter's head, whoops, and then throw their arm around the mama otter on the top and get a drink out of the high drinking fountain. And so to me as an artist, that's the best compliment you can get, that this public sculpture is there's interaction with it and the kids love it. So that first sculpture that we did was part of a very, very important year-long program on water awareness. And the title of that first sculpture is Clean Water Brings Life. Now, on this second sculpture, I wanted to use the theme of habitat because we have so much development. I mean, every place I travel, it's just, the housing developments are booming and industry is booming everywhere as well as here in Winona. And one of the things that we have to be so careful of is to protect these natural areas where these creatures need to live. So again, I used the the babies in the different the generational thing. On the original sculpture, it was the mama otter represented clean water. The general title of the sculpture is Clean Water Brings Life. And so the mama otter is representing clean water for future generations. And then the second otter on the original sculpture is an otter with a fish in his mouth, and that represents clean water for our food chain. And then the third otter is sliding off the bottom, and he is representing the need for clean water for the joy of recreation. Now, in this sculpture, I'm using the little burrow underneath the sculpture to represent that den, the place for these creatures to live and to raise their young. It also represents our future generations and their need to have these creatures surviving. So, and then that little tree branch on the bottom, could you point to that, Brianna? The little tree branch on the bottom, I had to have a place where the kids could step up to that higher fountain. So that's going to substitute. We're not going to put an otter's head in there this time. We're going to have a tree branch, and then just the interactiveness of the parent otter with the little one is the other one that is that generational link. So anyway, it's the beginning of my design. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the other thing is we've been requested to do the drinking fountain, or the water bottle filler. And so I'm still looking for a sink, and we're hoping that we can find a good solution to that. But all the rest of the parts I'd like to mention have the 2 stainless steel sinks. It'll have 2 stainless steel sinks again, and those have already been donated by LK, and they are looking for, and there's a bottle filler and the button for it, and we're still looking for that basin that would catch the water. So if we can get all that worked out, it'll have a bottle filler on it.
Can you bring it closer? Sorry.
And the other thing that we're talking about tonight as well is the space, about removing a portion of the low parapet wall and then taking out the concrete, obviously, and putting in some decorative concrete afterwards, similar to the other one. So both of those things is what we're looking for approval tonight.
So will we have little otter footprints around the basement, like the one we controlled by the band shop?
I don't know what we're going to do at this point.
Yeah, that's very, very challenging.
I certainly won't be the one that makes that decision. Square with joints looks good to me.
Smile otters.
You're famous.
Well, I think it's wonderful that other cities can have water fountains and we have otter fountains.
Beautiful.
It's nice to recognize the local talent. My only recommendation, assuming this would go forward, is that we have some sort of text or plaque that recognizes, or at least tells, the wonderful story that is behind the symbolism here.
Good point.
And I don't know if it's done as well at the one at the band shell, but perhaps it could be if it's not, and maybe we can have a 2-for-1 plaque or something, and then
Yeah.
recognize some of the donors, you know, as you say, if people had donated
Yeah.
the stainless steel parts of it. So I would make a motion then to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
Motion by Al and a bunch of seconds, but I'll recognize Pam, I guess. I heard her first. Any other discussion, comments? That's it. Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
It's beautiful.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
We'll start with Paul.
During the last few weeks, several comments have been made in the media seeding a discussion on the perceived demise of manufacturing and Winona as a transportation hub. Nothing could be further from the truth. One has to simply visit our industrial parks to see the activity and expansion of our local businesses, the want ads in our local papers looking for second, third, and fourth shift workers, for opportunities indicating that first shifts are blessed with orders, requiring them to expand production hours. The concerns for diesel emissions is not from lack of activity, but the growth and abundance of increased activity. Industrial growth is alive and well and will continue to challenge us to meet the needs for further expansion, not contraction.
Thank you. Pam? George?
Yeah, like I say, from hearing the presentation tonight and reading as well too, how, and I hope I'm understanding this wrong, that manufacturing is on the decline. It's not our future. It may be on, so many years from now. Winona has 8 #1 companies that are world leading or in North America. Manufacturing is a stronghold of this community. It produces revenue for this community, and our community would not be what it is today if we have not had the manufacturers we have and those yet to come into the future. So this town is very strongly based on manufacturing. And, just as you read the proclamation about, SciTech Fibrite expanding in Winona, what a great time, Manufacturers Week. I think we all should be proud of that. And to the 4 people in the audience, happy Halloween, and for the 6 that are watching at home, happy Halloween.
Oh, there's more than that.
They're at the pregame already.
Al?
Thank you. Just wanted to recognize a memo we received from our Finance Director, Mary Burrichter, regarding the bond rating for the city of Winona. As we sold our airport bonds, we maintain a very good bond rating, one that keeps those prices down, and I want to thank all those on city staff and especially the finance department for making that happen. It's very good, and the bond people list some challenges for us, but nothing that we can't deal with and move forward. I was down at the Levy Park Sunday, seeing the American Queen steamboat. It's great to see those big boats stop in Winona again. But I happened to notice a city picnic table that was apparently thrown off of the old Wilkie patio that landed on the street at Levy Park or Cal Fremling Parkway, and it was kind of sad to see that when we had visitors visiting our park, and you're talking about Levy Park earlier tonight. That was disappointing. And also, just a reminder, we will have more visitors to our community this week. The student ambassadors and adults from our sister city, Masato, Japan, will be here starting on Wednesday. And various parts of the community are again welcoming them, especially our school system, and the folks there, plus the parents, and we're very excited to have them. They will be here at City Hall on Thursday morning around 9 o'clock for a city welcome and a greeting from our mayor. So, thank you.
Jerry?
Nothing to say.
Michelle?
I just want to mirror some of what George said. I'd love to see something happen at Levy Park, but I just want us to remember that if the businesses that are here are not here, we wouldn't have ecotourism. We wouldn't have the healthy art community we have. I think if you look at the donor lists for the Shakespeare Festival, the Midwest Music Festival, and all of our festivals, even the Trinona, what you're going to see on there are our manufacturers. Not to mention that they employ a large portion of our community, and to look 50 years in the future and see that we no longer have a healthy industrial manufacturing riverfront would be devastating to our community. So I hope when we're going forward looking at Levy Park, we look at a way to incorporate what is one of our stronger suits, which is one of the largest manufacturing and industrially strong riverfronts in the state. That's all I want to say about that.
Okay. On the consent agenda, there are 3 items: approval of the minutes from the October 7th meeting, the final adoption of an ordinance to set the 2014 liquor license fees, and a claim against the city by Sieben Gross and Van Holtum, representing Charles Storley.
Move to approve the consent items.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're
Our
adjourned.
discussion, we could have talked about that.
We could have, I should have said more, I would have won if we would have done, wait, are we no, we're
Yes, very much.